It's been a minute since I filmed the video. I don't know. I mean, I never did an intro anyway. But we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag, which I like to do this tag because it kind of gets to show how much I've read so far this year, how much I still have to go to get to my goal, and kind of look back on all the books that I've read because I'm very forgetful. So like when I was answering these, you know, like I wrote them down. Whenever I was looking at the questions, I was like, I don't remember anything. So yeah. But anyways, I'm actually filming this the day before my birthday, so yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that I'm getting new bookshelves very soon for my birthday. Truth be told, the bookshelves are a gift from my grandma. She completely forgot to buy them for me. So that's a normal thing in this family. But anyways, let's get started. I added 2 questions because they are pretty short. But first question is the goal for this year. My goal every year is 50 books because I know, for one, that's obtainable for me, especially if towards the end of the year I see that I haven't reached it yet. I can just read a couple of manga and we're good. So far, I'm very happy with the amount of books that I've read. I think it's mainly thanks to the Mermaid readathon that I hosted this year, that May has been the biggest month for me. We're gonna get into that in a second. Next question is, how many books have you finished so far? 38. I finished a book 2 days ago, which was an arc that I finally finished. Yeah, I read 38 books so far this year. Every year whenever I have my goal, I always try to at least get to 25 books by June, just because I know that by then I'm like, it's halfway through the year and I'm halfway through my reading goal. And now I'm way past it. The arc is the only book I finished so far this month. I still need to finish the book club pick for this month, which is This Is How You Lose a Time War. So yeah, I still need to finish that one. So I guess it'll be 39 by the time that this video is up, which is insane. I don't think I've ever gotten this far into my reading goal in half a year. It's crazy. It's crazy. Next question is, what was your best reading month? Like I said, it was May. Let me check how many books I read in May. I think it was like 18. I may be underselling myself. I didn't prepare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's loading. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 books. So I did 1 extra. But still, that's wild for me. That's insane. But yes, that's how many books I read so far this year. I think next year for Mermaid, I'm gonna do the same thing as I did this year, which, if you don't know, it was kind of like this board game type thing. So like, people who participate could either just go down the board, do every prompt, or you could roll a dice and whatever prompt you landed on was the one you had to read. It really just depended on if you're a mood reader or if you like pick out beforehand, basically. That's crazy. I also got really deep into Edgar Allan Poe because of a webtoon that I'm reading. So like, I wanted to study up on Edgar Allan Poe to be able to understand the references and shit. I went deep into that rabbit hole. It's bad, but it's good. I'm having fun. Define fun. Anyways, next question. Best book you've read so far this year? This was actually a tie between Providence Girls by Morgan Dante and This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. Just because Kaylin Bayron's book I read earlier this year. I think I read it in February. I think it was the February book club pick or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But I was pleasantly surprised by This Poison Heart just because I read Cinderella is Dead a couple of years ago, and I didn't love it as much. I still really enjoyed it. It was really fun. I liked the creepy undertones it had, and with any fairy tale retelling, I'm automatically a whore for it, so it's fine. But with this one, this is crack. It was so good, and I still need to read the sequel. I may read the sequel later this year, or I may read it next year. I don't know. I may do it a book club pick for next year, because for this year I think I already have all of the book club picks laid out. but I may do it still. We'll see. But then we also have Providence Girls by Morgan Dante, which I originally started during the trans rights readathon, but wasn't able to finish it. And then I tried to finish it in April while I was going to SakuraCon. And actually, while reading it on the plane back, I was getting at such a sad moment. I was almost done with it. I had like, what, 10 pages left, and I was like, nope, no, I'm not about to fucking sob my eyes out on the fucking plane. And thank God, because I did in fact sob my eyes out. I actually had a record for a vlog that I ended up not doing for Mermaid just because I forgot to update it every time, so I ended up not really completing that vlog. But I did have like my reaction to the ending of Providence Girls, and I did in fact sob very hard. And this book was not at all what I expected. I knew there was like sapphic mermaids, and like I was excited for that because I have an unhealthy obsession with mermaids and it's sapphic, so I was like, fuck yeah. I thought I was gonna get a cutesy mermaid lesbian book. I'm gonna make a separate video talking about this book. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it, just because it surprised me so much with how much I loved it. It's insane. It's one of those books where I'm like, how is this not more popular? Like, I know for a fact that if this was straight, this would have like been everywhere for sure. It's a monster romance, but oh my god, like I knew there was a monster romance, so that's why I thought it was gonna be like a little more silly, a little more goofy, just because that's what I imagine monster romances to be, just because usually you're dating a furball, so I don't often like take those as like being hard-hitting and stuff like that. I stand corrected. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get into it too much just because I am going to make a separate video, kind of like a review, but then also just me wanting to yap about it, so thank you for that. If I ever remember to actually film it, I will actually sob my eyes out if I do that. I'm so warm with this thing on. Goddamn. But yeah, it's a tie between those two, just because out of all of the books I've read so far this year, those two stand out so much. Like at the beginning, when I first read This Poison Heart, I was like, this is going to be very hard to top. And then I read Providence Girls and I was like, oh my god, both of these. For two very different reasons. Providence Girls is because of how Providence Girls is that kind of book where I want to talk about it so much and try and like get as many people to read it as I possibly can. But at the same time, I want to gatekeep it because it's so, this is my Shayla. This is my child now. You cannot touch because you will not understand the love that I have for this book. Because there's the way that it's written, it's definitely not going to be a type of book that everybody will like just because of the writing style. It's written with like this diary slash, like that one of the characters is writing it as a diary and the other character is essentially writing from the POV of like the future and like retelling the story. It's kind of like in the love letter format, so because of that you kind of already know how it ends. But the lead up to it, this is why I'm always so pissed whenever authors say they don't like to do anything blah 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 because it quote unquote gives spoilers. If your book is good and if the lead up to like the big thing is good, the big thing, even if you know it about it already from the start, it's still gonna be good. Like in this book, you knew from the very beginning that they don't end up together because of the way that it's written, and then like you essentially watch them grow closer and closer to each other until eventually they have to separate. I wasn't gonna go to, and my cat abandoned me before filming now. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and here I am talking about it. But yes, anyway, oh my god. So that's why I love Providence Girls so much, it's just to put it simply. But then when it comes to This Poison Heart, it's a mix of everything. It's like, first of all, the mystery setup for this is really good. The like world building for it is really good because it's kind of like fantasy but set in the real world. And like I think it's Greek mythology that it takes from, but it's like the undertones of Greek mythology, and it's like, it's kind of like the Lost Apothecary but Greek mythology, if that makes sense. And it's so good. And again, I love Kailyn Barron, and I love that she also actually wrote a horror book, because I swear this woman was born to write horror. And the thing is, when it comes to horror books, I mostly love it when it's like a book that's not intentionally horror, like it's more like a fantasy or even just like a contemporary, but the undertone is like horror, you know, like there's an undertone of like creepiness and something that makes it unsettling almost. I love that type of writing. And also the characters were fucking amazing. I cannot. I recommend to both Steph and I think also Leah was reading it at the same time. All three of us were like, what the fuck, this is so good. I think because Leah also read Cinderella is Dead, and Cinderella is Dead does have like mixed reviews. You either love it or hate it. I can definitely see why people don't like it. I'm just a bitch when it comes to retellings, sapphic retellings. So it could literally have been the worst book ever. I still would have given it like 5 stars or some shit. I don't care. But this was so surprising. Anyway, I've been waiting. I've been yapping too long about this. Anyway, best sequel you've read so far this year, which is Celestial Monsters by Aiden Thomas. I read the first book 2 years ago, thinking this bitch was going to be a standalone, and then I get to the end and I'm like, wait. And then I check Storygraph and like there is a sequel. However, at the time there was no cover, there was no title, and there was no release date. So I was like, I whoopty done it again. And I whoopty done it again this year with Amina Sirafi, because that book is apparently also not a standalone. I think the sequel actually comes out later this year or next year, I don't remember. But yes, absolutely loved this book. I read this one for the Transverse Readathon, and oh my god, I love Aiden Thomas's writing so much. Listen, I read Cemetery Boys back when it first came out, and so like from the moment on, I was in love with Aiden Thomas's writing. I will always love his books. I will never skip an Aiden Thomas book. I also own Lost in the Neverwoods, which I've heard mixed things about, but I am still going to be reading it, especially if I have to wait for another Aiden Thomas book to come out in the meantime. I know that the next book that he's gonna publish is going to be a sequel to Cemetery Boys, which I usually don't like whenever authors like publish a sequel to a standalone, when like the first book was meant to be read as a standalone and then there's a sequel. It doesn't make much sense, but apparently this one is like a sequel standalone. It's about a different character. I think it was about the female side character that we had in the first book. I haven't read it in a hot minute, and I'll probably reread it before the sequel comes out, but yeah, that's from what I heard. So I'm actually very excited for this one, and I trust Aiden Thomas to not disappoint me. Next is new releases you haven't read yet but want to. But compared to the other years, I really didn't keep track of books that were coming out this year. So I didn't really go into this year with like anticipated releases, just because also I've been on a book buying ban, which I broke while I went to Sakura, but I haven't been buying many books this year, which is good. It's good because I have books littering my floor because there is no space for my shelves. But a couple of ones I know that came out already are Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which is a sapphic vampire book. Like the bitch woke up and was like, okay, let me write this just for her. I saw some people who've already read it, and of course it's all the gays. I've seen a couple of people have read it and absolutely adored it. I love V. Schwab's writing. The very first book I've read of hers was Addie LaRue. So when it comes to her books, I always have very high expectations because of how much I love that book. And then I also read City of Bones and City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones, which is her middle grade series. I still need to read the third one. And I also read Vicious. I still need to read Vengeful though. So yeah, and now we have this one. Also, I still need to read the Darker Shade of Magic. I also have like the comic book forms here too, I realized. I love V. Schwab, but I haven't read all of her stuff. But I'm very excited for this one, just because, I mean, sapphic vampires. The other one that I got really excited for was The Knights and the Moth, which by Rachel Gillig, which I do own One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I haven't read it yet. I really need to get to that one because it sounds really good. But yeah, I've heard a lot of things about this one. I know that it's a knight romance, which I'm a bitch for. But yeah, I also saw that there was another knight romance that's sapphic that I don't know if it came out this year or is about to come out later this year. I don't remember exactly. I may be entering my night era and it's not gonna look pretty. Will someone just give me female knight and eldest princess, please? And finally, we have Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. Samantha Soto Yambao, which is a book I haven't heard much about, but I have seen it go everywhere, and also a lot of people what I have similar tastes in give it like 5 stars and they're like yapping about it. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to hop on this train, because also it looks, the cover is gorgeous, okay? But yeah, that's mainly like, I don't like to like go too much into like reviews and stuff like that, but when I see that someone or like mutuals who have a similar reading taste to me really love this book, I'm like, okay, I trust you. That's all I need. Just because I feel like I like to go into things blind, and that's also why I rarely read synopsises. Like the moment I know like key things, like it being a sapphic vampire book, okay, I don't need to know the plot, I will get to it. But if it's not like anything that like immediately, okay, this is something that I want to read, then having a synopsis is easy, is like useful. But also if it's just like a mutual of mine that like raves about it and like gives it 5 stars or like a very high review and like really loves it dearly, I'm like, okay, I trust you, Bill, to give it to me. And this is one of those cases. It's also similar to The Knight and the Moth, which is again a book that I've seen a lot of people had the arc for this, and they also like, the reviews are really good for this one, also from like, again, mutuals of mine, they're really good. So next, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. 2 arcs that I actually have. The first one is Tenderly I'm Devoured by Lyndall Clipstone, which I just finished actually a couple of days ago. I still put these on here just because, again, I didn't keep track of like books that are coming out this year, just because I don't want to tempt myself into buying them. Yeah, Lyndall Clipstone's Tenderly I'm Devoured comes out July 1st, and then there's another book which I also just acquired an arc for, and I'm on the streets team for, so I'm gonna take my job very seriously. Is Unending by Evelise Hausman, I think. It's the sequel to Unseelie, which I've read like a year or so ago. I think I read it last year in February, and I absolutely adored it. I'm planning on rereading it next month. So this is going to be next month's book club pick. This is going to be the July book club pick. So if you also want to read this, feel free to join us. The Discord is in the description. And I want to reread it just kind of like as a preparation for the sequel, and then like afterwards I'll read the arc for it because it comes out in September. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot of posts regarding Unending and Unseelie. So yes, that's why those 2 are there for like the second half of the year, just because, again, I don't want to get I don't want to tempt myself to buy more books. So these are 2 arcs that I got that come out in the second half of the year, so they count, and I'm very excited for them. Next, biggest disappointment. Tenderly I Am Devoured by Lyndall Clipstone. Listen, it wasn't that big of a disappointment, but just out of all of the books that I've read so far this year, it definitely falls pretty low, just because it was not what I expected. I have a whole ass review for it over on my Instagram, so if you want to know why, what reason, you can go check that out. But yeah, as much as like it was disappointing, it wasn't disappointing as in it was bad. It was disappointing as in like it was not what I expected. I was expecting something very different, and also just because the author actually like pitched it as like it being for people who love House of Hollow, and if you don't know, House of Hollow is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. So the moment that you say that, you put yourself on a fucking pedestal. And unfortunately, this one did not meet those expectations. I can definitely see where the House of Hollow influences came from, but it didn't hit the same. But I also mentioned this in my review, I overanalyzed everything and why it didn't work for me. But I have a ghost cat. Anyway, I keep hearing paws right next to me, but my cat is not here. What was I saying? What was I saying? Right. this in my review I overanalyzed a lot of things, but I did hope that everything that I like wrote down didn't stop anyone from actually wanting to read it, just because I did go into like details and like spoiler details, but like me yapping about it and like the different pieces that didn't work for me, I really hope that it didn't stop anyone from wanting to read it, just because it is a vibe. Like, if you're the type of reader that is usually just there for the vibes, this book is for you, because it has a lot of like mythology in it. I think it's specifically inspired by Greek mythology. I could be wrong though, don't quote me on that, but it has a lot of those elements. It also has a poly romance in it. It's queer. There is also a kissable god, which in my review I did mention that I wish that this god was a bit less kissable and a bit more of a threat. But still, I do highly recommend it. I do highly recommend that you read it when it comes out, just because I love Lyndall Clipstone. And as much as this one didn't meet my expectations, it definitely won't stop me from reading any other Lyndall Clipstone books. Like, I'm planning on doing a reread of Lake's Edge, which is the very first book I've read of her. To kind of like refresh my memory before reading Forest Fall. And then there's also what was it? The Undying Court, I think that it was, which is also by Lyndall Clipstone. I don't own that one, but I do still need to read it, and I'm planning on to, just because it did not stop me from wanting to read more of her books. It just was not for me. And so I guess calling it a disappointment is kind of like a big word. It just didn't meet my expectations, and that's it. Biggest surprise, This Poison Heart by Kailyn Byron. Again, I did not expect to love. I knew I wasn't going to hate it, but I just didn't have any expectations for it. You know, like, I still remembered how I felt with Cinderella is Dead, and it definitely did not. I remember how I felt when it came to Cinderella is Dead, so I definitely didn't have like high hopes. But I know that this one was a lot more popular than Cinderella is Dead was, and I'm like, still, as much as I heard people like loving it, I still feel like this bitch was very underrated. It was so good. I'm so sorry, I already yapped about this book. Next, favorite new author, debut or new to you? Morgan Dante, the author of Providence Girls. I probably will read more of their work, just because I loved it so much. I know that the books so far that they have doesn't look like it would be something for me. Like, even Providence Girls, if I had known like going into it what it was going to be like, I probably would have been like, doesn't sound for me, just because of the like writing style, and like it's heavy on the romance. But I need to look into some of the reviews for those other books, because I really want to read more Morgan Dante books, and I hope that they will write more things similar to Providence Girls, just because it was so good, and it's a rare ass gem. It's a rare gem. I loved it so much. If you do plan on reading it, please check out Trigger Warnings. Oh my god. Next is newest fictional crush, Amina Sirafi. Listen, I did not know I was going to love this book as much as I did. I read this as the very first book for the Mermaid Readathon. So yeah, I started with the chunker. Thank god I had a fucking audiobook with this one. But I had a blast reading this. Amina Sirafi is hilarious. I loved her so much. And again, I don't know why I keep thinking these books are standalones. I don't know why I keep forgetting to check, but I did. And apparently this is going to be a series, at the bare minimum, a duology. And I have no idea when the sequel comes out. But I love this one so much. It was really cool. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun with this one. So yeah, you can bet your ass I will be reading the sequel the moment it comes out. I do not care. I really should just keep to the books I already own, but I love this one so much. Next is newest favorite character, Lenore from Nevermore, which is a webtoon, which is the webtoon I'm reading, where I basically read all of the Edgar Allan Poe books that I do own. If you don't know what Nevermore is, it's a sapphic webtoon where it essentially draws inspiration like let me start over. Nevermore is a webtoon that takes heavy inspiration from Edgar Allan Poe. Kind of like similar to Bungo Stray Dogs, every single character is essentially based off of either a character or a poem or a book by Edgar Allan Poe. And so it's filled to the brim with literary references to Edgar Allan Poe, and there's a big mystery surrounding it because all the characters are dead. They are stuck in limbo essentially, and they're stuck in this academy called Nevermore Academy, where if they graduate, they get a chance at a second life. However, a lot of the characters didn't know at the very beginning that only one of them will make it. So it's essentially it's gonna be heart-wrenching because you see these characters grow together and become besties, and it's gonna be very sad, and it's gonna be a heartache, especially because the two main characters, well, the main character is Lenore, and then you have her love interest Annabelle Lee, who is very scheming. Like, she knows how they both died, because the thing is about these characters that they originally don't really know how they died. They just know that they ended up in Nevermore just all of a sudden, and the moment that they remember how they died, they are able to unlock their specter, which is essentially their ghost form, and each kind of takes on the form of a certain, either again based on an Edgar Allan Poe novel, or basically just something that fits them. For example, Annabelle Lee is a weeping bride type ghost because apparently she was killed by someone who claimed to love her the most, that's kind of where the mystery starts, because obviously we know as the audience that her and Lenore are together. And you sometimes get chapters or episodes, I guess, they're called on webtoons, they're called episodes, where you kind of get like a flashback to Annabelle Lee and Lenore's story and how they like grew together and like how they met, how things went, and also kind of getting hints as to what happened, but they're still shrouded in mystery, and you don't know, and she will not tell Lenore how they both died, because Annabelle Lee obviously knows how she dies, and also Annabelle Lee knows how it ends, and she's remembering from back to front, so she's remembering from the moment that she died to back how, you know, things started. Meanwhile, Lenore remembers from the beginning, like she remembers from when they met, and is slowly remembering to the point where she died. So they kind of like both remember backwards, and so you get obviously you know from Lenore how it started, but you know that Annabelle Lee knows how it ended. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. And there's a whole mystery around Annabelle Lee and like why is she keeping the secret, what is going on. You kind of get the sense that she knows a lot more, because obviously when it was revealed that only one of them will make it out alive, like only one of them will be able to have a second life, everybody else is freaking out and she's just over there chill, sipping her tea. Kind of like very chaotic. I cannot recommend this webtoon enough. It's insane, and it's also like the perfect tribute to Edgar Allan Poe's work. It's so fucking good. All of the characters are so lovable, and the art, excuse you, I am obsessed with Lenore's design. It may be because of how much I love Akutagawa, sue me, and also it's because of the nature of the webtoon, that it's like every character is based off of an Edgar Allan Poe novel. Obviously my Bungo Stray Dogs loving ass will absolutely adore this webtoon so much. I actually started it earlier this year. I think I started in December of last year, and now it's still ongoing. So yeah, it's and also they have an official Discord server, and everybody in there is so fucking sweet. They sometimes have like these little events, like art events and stuff like that, and you also can go in there to like have theories, like yap about it, and like discussions around the episodes and stuff like that, and it's overall really, really, really fun. I had this very funny interaction when I first joined the Discord server where I was like, I do not trust these two creators, because one of them is the writer, like the main writer, and the other one is also a writer but also the artist for it. And they actually responded kind of being like cheeky of being like, oh, you don't trust us. They're really sweet. Next one. A book that made you cry, Providence Girls by Morgan Dante. I think this is going to be the book that this year is going to be answered. I think this is going to be the book that I answered the most with, just because of how much I loved it. Oh my god, I'm not gonna try to yap about it again because I'm gonna cry. I probably have already put the screenshot of me sobbing about the ending multiple times on screen already, so it's fine. Next is a book that made you happy, Noragami. I have watched Noragami probably a dozen times. It's also one of the very first animes I've ever watched. Back when a classmate of mine got me into anime, she gave me a list of different animes. The first one I ever watched, like really got, obviously when I was a kid I watched a lot of Pokemon and Bakugan. That's back when I didn't know what the fuck anime was. This is like my official introduction to anime. Like, she obviously put on the list Noragami, but then also Juanisai, which is the very first anime that she actually made me watch, which was very funny because according to her and her friend, there was a guy at our school that looked a lot like one of the characters that she had a crush on, and so I remember very vividly that one morning she and her friend were like, oh my god, let's go spy on him, and they were literally just like giggling like idiots, just spying on this poor guy, and I was just in the background being like, is this what straight people do? I was so confused. Or maybe it was just my error ace and unrealized bitch ass. I don't know. But the second one I ever watched was actually Noragami, and I fell in love with this immediately. And it's just the type of show, this along with Haikyuu, just whenever I hear the opening or just like look at these characters, there is so much joy going through my body. You guys do not understand. And also, like, when we went to Sakuracon, the place that we stayed at, there was actually someone in that building, like a trio, that was dressed in like Noragami cosplay. They were like with Asiato, Hiyori, and then also Yukine. They were all three dressed up there, and me and Steph were like, oh my god! And like, we sucked because we forgot to ask for a picture. I really wish I had a picture with them. Yeah, I'm very sad. But anyways, also I realized that by the time that I post this video, my Sakura vlog still isn't up, and it's been 2 months now. I'm sorry, but yes. So obviously this is not my first time reading this, but overall whenever I read Noragami or like any of these like manga or animes that I've watched so long ago, there's just so much joy that is coursing through my body. And apparently the manga is now officially finished, and thank god it has a happy ending. I can't wait. I can't wait. And every time there's a lie spread that we're getting another season, I will fall for it and I will manifest it. Next, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I didn't buy this one. This was a gift from Leah when I went to Seattle. It's the Heaven of Cecil Blessings hardcover. I think it's a special edition. I don't know, but I know it's the hardcover, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Listen, look at this shit. It's absolutely stunning. Look at the art. Look at this. I'm obsessed with this. I don't remember if the artwork inside. No, the artwork inside is still the exact same as the regular Donmei. That's not me complaining. I absolutely love the artwork. But it's absolutely stunning, and the fact that it was a gift from Leah, I will cherish this forever. Next, books you need to read by the end of the year. I wanted to do a reread of Unseelie, like I said before I saw my arc of an ending, because I did read this over a year ago now, and I need to refresh my memory. I realized I didn't like talk about this book when I first showed it. Essentially, it's, if you know about fairy lore, you would know that a lot of like specifically the changeling aspects of like the fairy lore, fairy folklore, is that a lot of changeling traits kind of like overlap with autistic traits, which is why historically there's a whole thing where autistic children were mistaken for changelings and things happened. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but yeah. Ivelisse Hausman, being autistic, she actually wrote a book that essentially touches on that, where basically you have twins, where one of them is human and the other one is a changeling fairy who's autistic. And I loved this one when I first read it, and I'm really excited to reread it. And I have a live reaction of me reacting to the fact that I got an arc for this in the mail. I cannot believe that I'm actually part of the street team. You can like, I just signed up for this street team randomly because of how much I loved Unseelie, and I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot, and I got in. Oh my god. Also, like, I'm in a Discord server with all of the other people who are on the street team. Everybody's so sweet. I'm so fucking happy. So yeah, apparently some people have already finished their arc. I'm gonna be right there. I first need to reread Unseelie, but yes. And then the second one, before stuff beats my ass, is going to be Grandmaster of Demonic Pendejo. This one's going to be Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation by Moshang Tongshi, Volume 3. If you've seen my vlogs so far, I haven't posted my vlog to Volume 2 yet. I'm so behind, and stuff is going to be yelling at me in the comments. But yes, we're actually starting this next month. Thankfully for Unseelie, I do have a audiobook for this one, so I can definitely like read it while listening to the audiobook, and then also read this one simultaneously. But yes, so this is actually going to be next month's book club pick again, if you want to join. But yes, these are because Steph and I are trying to get through all of our dames because we're very far behind. Last year, we actually were able to finish Heaven Official Blessings. I finished it on the 31st of December. Like, literally a year. And then we obviously started Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation last year as well. We read the second book earlier this year too. I haven't posted. That vlog is late, okay? And so now we also need to get to this one because there's only 5 volumes. This is volume 3, so then we only have 2 volumes left. I bet we're gonna have to finish it next year, which is fine, whatever. She's gonna yell at me, but it's fine. But yeah, those are the 2 books I really want to finish by the end of this year. That was all the books I had to show today. I am going to try and post more. I know I say this every time, but like, first of all, with May, I had a lot going on with May, so I like had to like laser focus on reading, which worked phenomenally. I think I said it right the first time, because I read 17 books in that month. But then in June I had my subathon, and so I was very distracted with that one. I almost forgot to film this video. That's why I'm filming it so late, because Steph actually reminded me of it. But oh well. But yeah, I will. Once this is posted, you can expect there to be my Sakura vlog up next, and then also my vlog for Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation Book 2 up as well soon. I don't think I had any other vlogs or videos left to be edited. We'll see, who knows. But that's the order in which I'm planning on publishing them, just because of like reasons. And also, if I post the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation one last, it'll probably be closer to like the time that I actually finished book 3. But anyways, happy early birthday to me, because my birthday is tomorrow. I'm turning 23. Bye!